Happy Trans Day of Visibility, everyone.
Wow, right off the rip with that.
We're just going to jump right in.
just fucking feet first.
Do you see that meme that I posted? Where it was the guy who was like, he's like, same shit, different day.
Different fucking day. Different goddamn day. Yeah. We should talk about it. It's topical, right?
Yeah. I guess this is a kind of like a current events podcast, I suppose.
Something like that.
I don't even know what you'd call it at this point.
It's freeform.
Yeah, freeform.
Freeform podcast. Sorry, everybody. I could drink a little bit of water. So today, as recording this, we are recording this on Easter night. And I'm sure everybody listening heard all the hoopla about it. Joe Biden, what do you call it? A decree?
Yeah, a decree.
He decreed that March 31st was going to be Trans Day of Visibility. Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Are we somehow under the impression that no one knows what a trans person is at this point? It's been the only thing for like 10 years now.
What if he's like, I'm marking this day as the Trans Visibility Day, and like all these people just appeared, like they've just all these invisible trans people.
They're just fucking like shadow demons up until this point.
Like
they just appeared.
It's like a predator.
Yeah, and why does he have that power? So the knee-jerk reaction from a lot of people was that, why are you doing this on Easter? Easter's a big day for Christians. This seems provocative.
Yeah.
It seems like a direct dig at Christian people. And in all honesty, that was how I reacted to it.
Right.
Straight away. But then I found out that March 31st has been Trans Day of Visibility, or Day of Trans Visibility, whatever, for like 10 years now. So it's been a thing for a long time. I just find
it a national holiday, or
I don't know. I find it really odd that I never heard anything about it from anyone until this time around when it landed on Easter. Now maybe that was the point, right? And it kicked up a lot of hoopla and it got people talking about it or whatever. But it does seem provocative.
Yeah.
On purpose.
I'm tired of like every day having like International like Beef Burrito Day.
Yeah, why does everything gotta have a day?
Or like International like Smelly Sock Day, or it's like some bullshit.
Yeah, it is it's all a bunch of horse shit. There should be like 10 holidays in the year, and if you can't find something to be a part of, that's on you. You got 10 different days. Pick one. Well, yeah, I saw a lot of people complaining.
Yeah, I saw the Twitter sphere was pretty upset.
Yeah, they were very upset. Their Christian Twitter, which is markedly small as it is, was a very vocal minority on Twitter the past couple of days. And I guess rightfully so. There's an odd thing that happens on Twitter every now and then where I see it a lot between Christians and Muslims on Twitter, where something will happen. Okay, it's typically the LGBTQ community will do something.
No.
And Christians will kind of raise their hackles about it.
Yeah.
And then there's like this little like flame war going on between those two groups. And then the Muslims will jump in and they'll start flaming the LGBTQ community, but they'll never say anything to the Muslims. They will never say a word to them.
No.
They will just let them shit all over them and never say anything to them. And I find that very interesting. I wonder why that is.
No, I mean, we know why it is.
We all know why it is.
Well, it's because Christianity is the predominant religion. And since Islam is not, then that means that they're an oppressed class.
They're a minority group, a marginalized group. Also, I think that, Christianity Christianity has a theme of pacifism, kind of baked into the ideology, right? Like the whole turn the other cheek thing. But I feel like, I don't feel like you're meant to be a doormat.
Right.
Right. I don't feel like you're meant to just let people walk all over you. I think it's okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay to stand up for your beliefs. I don't think it's okay to be a dick to somebody who's not doing anything to you. That's obviously not cool. But, I don't find, when I see a Christian person raise a very valid concern,
right.
I don't understand why it's always taken as a personal attack by so many people.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, you should just shut up and take this because you're a Christian. Otherwise, you're a bad Christian. Yeah. If you don't let me just fucking ramrod you for days on end.
I mean, it seems like...
We got one light bulb in here. This little dingy basement down in here. We, right quick, Mary was like, so y'all are going to do a live streamed episode, like with a camera? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, in that room? And I was like, Lord, no. No, we're not going to do that. It's so funny. Like, I want to take a picture of what this room looks like and just post it on the Facebook page one day. I'm like, this is what it looks like in here. This is where we record.
No, I saw that was kind of going on, and I know that, I guess the conservative space was all up in a tizzy about it. And
yeah. It's really interesting. The conservatives on Twitter, they can't ever decide on what's conservative.
Right.
It's like you see that with libertarians a lot.
Well,
libertarians have a hard time.
Libertarians are known for it. They'll attack one another.
Yeah, they have a hard time.
And they're like, I'm agreeing with you.
yeah. There's no like credo. There's no like Bible for these people. It's just it's kind of like, hey man, whatever your opinion is, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But it's weird. Like, it seems like leftists and liberals have kind of like a codex by which they have to abide.
Right.
And if you step out of line, I've seen it happen. Yeah. If you step out of line even a little bit,
you're ostracized.
You are ostracized.
Well, the reason why I was saying that is because I know I saw something else that was like trending earlier in the week. It was, I guess, people got upset because they were saying, was it Christ is King?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something that pissed a bunch of people off.
Well, they were trying to...
The Jews.
Well... Yes, the Jews were the ones who were upset. They were trying to say that people were... And I imagine there were some instances of this. They were trying to say that saying Christ... For a Christian person to say Christ is King is anti-Semitism. Because... they are saying it in order to provoke Jewish people. Is it possible that there are some Christians doing that on purpose? Yeah. It's entirely possible.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But you can't just straight up claim, you can't have the ADL just straight up claim that Christ is King is an anti-Semitic phrase.
Well, I mean, if they're going to go down that road...
It's like a cornerstone of the whole religion.
It's like if you're going to go down that road, then you could look at the Jews and say, yeah, and you believe that he's boiling in piss and shit in hell right now. Yeah. So it's like... You hate us and we hate you. I don't really... Where are we at right now?
This is not any new information. Yeah.
Which is really kind of odd, like how the Jews and Christians like got lumped together somehow.
Yeah, Judeo-Christian.
Yeah. Like, what is that?
They're really at odds with one another when you get down to it.
It's like really the three like Abrahamic religions don't like one another.
Don't get along at all. Did you ever see that South Park episode where... there was like a prophecy about a red cow or whatever, and it was like Cartman had just painted a cow to be red, and like when like the news found out like the cow was red or whatever, like it was like a thing, a prophesied thing where Christians and Jews and Muslims would all like put aside their differences and work together. And they did. The whole thing was like it came together, whatever. Yeah. And they had this big party in Jerusalem, and like they had like the Christian logo, the Jewish logo, the Christian cross, the Jewish Star of David, and then the moon and the star for Islam. Yeah. And it was like it was like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam is all going to coalesce into one single religion, and they were going to show the logo now, and they all like merged into the Van Halen logo. And then Van Halen came out and started playing.
Oh God.
Oh man. Oh, that reminds me. I saw a video of why am I blanking on this? Slipknot. I saw a video of Slipknot.
Yeah.
Like one of their concerts, or whatever, and I got curious, and I was looking at when are they ever going to play a show around here anymore?
Yeah.
Because they mainly play like overseas and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be in Daytona Beach, Florida, May 12th.
That during the...
That's Welcome to Rockville. And I was just looking at this fucking lineup, dude. The day that they're there is the headliners are Slipknot, Breaking Benjamin, Architects, Evanescence, Bad Omens, Theory of a Dead Man, Sum 41, Black Veil Brides.
No.
And I'm just like, God, that's so good.
Yeah, no, like I was looking at the lineup earlier, and it wasn't earlier, but it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I think who else was supposed to be there?
Foo Fighters, Greta Van Fleet, Primus is going to be there. That's a cool one. Queens of the Stone Age, A Day to Remember, Cypress Hill. I didn't know that. Clutch, Jelly Roll, The Offspring, Limp Bizkit's going to be there. Falling in Reverse, yeah, all kind. Motley Crue is going to be there. Oh, Motley Crue. Oh, what a joke. That would be so fucking funny. Judas Priest is going to be there. Yeah, Mudvayne.
Berberding.
Yeah, Berberding. Yeah, there's lots of great bands. But the reason I thought about it is because on this lineup, it's Saturday's lineup. After Foo Fighters, Greta Van Fleet, and Primus is Mammoth, Wolfgang Van Halen. So that's Van Halen's son.
Oh, okay.
His band, which I don't know if you've ever heard any of their stuff. Or his stuff, rather. It's really, really good. Like it's really cool that he kind of followed in his father's footsteps and kind of keeping that alive a little bit. But yeah, what a lineup that is.
They always have fantastic lineups for Welcome to Rockville. I even remember the year that we went.
Yeah.
Which people were like, "Oh, this is a weak lineup." I thought the lineup was really good.
Yeah, I had a hell of a time. Did we go 2 days?
We just went the one day.
You just went the one day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had duty the next day.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to make it the second day.
God, what was that like going?
It was awful. Absolutely awful. I had a huge black eye. And I was bruised all up.
It was sunburned.
And sunburnt to fuck. And I had that sunburn for 3 years. I had that tan line for 3 years.
That was the worst sunbone. That was the worst sunburn.
I got boned by the sun.
I know. It was like I could feel it in my joints. It was so bad.
Yeah. It was like achy, like hurt.
Yeah, it was awful. I remember because we here and drove down there. It was like Saturday. No, we drove down. When did we drive? Yeah, we drove down on a Friday.
Yep.
We went on a Saturday. We crashed at your house. I slept for 3 hours in a chair. Yeah. And then got back up and drove home from Jacksonville, Florida. It was so fucking terrible. And then, I remember I got home and I had to turn around and then drive to Atlanta.
Yeah. Ugh.
Because I had stand-up comedy practice.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, when I was doing that. And I remember...
Was that the 2016 lineup that we went and saw?
Yeah, I think so. I remember sitting in class, like I had got up and I did like my little stand-up set or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, because what we would do is we would write jokes and tell them we'd stand up in front of class, tell our jokes, and then we would get feedback from everybody.
No.
And I came and I sat down. I sat next to the instructor, and he went, "Great job, man!" And he slapped me on the back, and I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I'm sorry, do you not like being touched?" He's like, "I've never touched a student before." I was like, "No." I just got really bad sunburn. Yeah. And I pulled my arm up and it's just fucking purple. Yeah. It's just splotchy. I was like, "This is what my skin looks like."
You missed the golden opportunity. But like, yes, I don't like people touching me.
You guys are like hyperventilating.
And like ran out of the room.
Like a totally normal dude up until that point.
That would have been like really good improv comedy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I had a lot of fun doing that. There was one day that I didn't do my homework.
Oh, no. Did you eat shit?
Oh, I ate shit. Oh, did I eat shit?
No.
I got up there and I tried to recount a funny story.
Yeah.
Just like wing it.
Yeah.
And it was not good. It was not good. A lot of the humor hinged on me being able to do a certain type of funny voice. Yeah. And I didn't nail it.
Oh, no.
And I just remember like three people just had this look like this like their face was trying to be supportive, but their brow was like disgusted. You know what I mean? That kind of like concerned smile. And I just, it was so bad. Like it was so bad. I don't even know how to explain how bad it was. But I sat down and no one said anything. And
you're like, yes, I know.
And then I just go, I wasn't prepared. And everybody started laughing. But I was like, oh man, standing up there and bombing. Yeah. And it just in front of like 12 people.
Right.
It was rough.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't handle getting up in front of a crowd of like 150 people and just eating shit like that.
The funniest one is the Bill Burr one in Philadelphia, where he's just bombing, and he's like 12 more minutes.
Mm-hmm. Well, it went from him bombing to him just being like, you know what, fuck all of you.
Yeah.
And he just started ripping into the whole town.
He just starts roasting Philadelphia.
Yeah. He has said before that he kind of feels a certain way about that clip. He's like, I never wanted to be known as like the rant comic.
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
it wouldn't be the first time you did something like that.
I think that's kind of the hand you got dealt. Yeah. I was like, I just lean into it. It works for you.
As the angry comic, you sort of become the rant guy.
Yeah. Like
Lewis Black.
Like Lewis Black is a perfect example, yeah. It'd be like if he didn't point anymore.
Yeah.
You know, he does this with his fingers. I feel like a lot of this is like what sells his jokes, but he's constantly doing like this trigger finger thing, and I don't know if that's an old man thing or what. But yeah, I always liked Lewis Black. I always thought he was really funny. Him and I'm trying to think if he was like another angry type comedian. Bill Burr, Lewis Black. Would you count Ron White? I wouldn't count Ron White.
No,
he's real kind of mild.
Yeah, not Ron. I think like it would be a little bit further back. It would be what was the guy's name?
Kramer from Seinfeld. Yeah, he was pretty angry that one day.
No, I was thinking.
Look at him,
I was thinking. He wore the fucking leather jacket. He's an older comedian. He was like big in the early '90s, and
not talking George Carlin, are you?
No, not George. Well, he was pretty angry too sometimes.
Yeah, he was kind of like an edgelord. Yeah.
No, for fuck's sake, I'm forgetting who it was.
John Panette, the big fat guy.
No,
he yelled a lot.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Who was the guy? There's that other comic. He was a big, huge dude. He was on Last Comic Standing, I think. I remember him being on Last Comic Standing, and then he went on to have like an actual career. But he was a big fat white guy, huge fat white guy. What was his
Ralphie
name?
May?
Ralphie May, yeah.
I was thinking of Sam Kinison.
Sam Kinison. I don't even know if I know who that is.
So he was big like back in the '90s, or fuck, it might have been the '80s.
Yeah.
It was either him or Andrew Dice Clay. I think
I've heard of Andrew Dice Clay before.
Yeah. That's Sam Kinison.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He does like the angry, rant type style.
Yeah.
One of my favorite comedians, and like nobody can recreate it, is the guy that just has like the deadpan delivery.
Mitch Hedberg. Yeah.
Where he's just like, you're just waiting for him to say some crazy shit, and then he just rolls right into the next thing.
He like spends no time on his jokes.
No.
It's just one after another. Like you never have a chance to like
catch up.
Yeah, he was really funny. Like because he was funny because no one else could do it like he did. Stephen Wright is kind of like a deadpan delivery type of guy, but Mitch Hedberg was totally different.
Yeah.
And I think that he was like a once in a million kind of comedian.
Right. Well, and even with Mitch there's other like deadpan delivery guys. Like you have like Jeselnik.
Yeah.
He's very deadpan, but he's more like I guess what would you call it? He's very like he's like dark.
He's very dark. Yeah,
like dark deadpan.
Yeah, I think he sets out with the purpose of like, how dark can I get?
Right.
Like how bad can I be before somebody like assassinates me while I'm standing up on stage?
But like with Mitch, like that's not really his shtick.
No.
Like he just kind of. He reminds me of like just like a surfer dude.
Yeah, just like a stoner.
Yeah.
Like his bit about getting a receipt for buying a donut. He's like, I will never need to prove that I bought a donut. Yeah, I liked him. I think who else I really liked was Patrice O'Neal.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was very good.
He passed away like 10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while now.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a great comedian. I loved him.
He was really good about like doing crowd work too. Like he'd roast the fuck out of some people.
A lot of people kind of poo-poo on crowd work. Like they think it's kind of like T-ball and like the comedy game.
Yeah.
I like good crowd work. Good crowd work is funny to me.
I don't think everybody can do crowd work. I think that there's some people that are really good at crowd work.
Yeah.
Like you see, like I'll see clips sometimes where like it's just crowd work.
Yeah.
And I think probably what a lot of that is them like, here's some stuff I can put out that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And like I don't have to burn material.
Right. I think that there's a fine line between like ribbing somebody like in crowd work and like being straight up disrespectful towards somebody. And it's always really funny to see like a comedian kind of cross that line, you know. One guy who does pretty good crowd work is Andrew Schultz.
Yes, he's very good at crowd work.
That's kind of like his whole thing.
Him and Akash.
Akash,
they're both really good at crowd work.
Who's the is it Mark Norman, the guy who's kind of like he's like an awkward dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another one like everything like is constant punchlines.
Yeah. He's interesting too because like you're not really sure if what he said was a joke.
Right.
It's just like like, oh, was that the joke? I don't know. But he is funny.
There's another one I saw. There's another one of those like little clips or whatever. Bo Burnham.
Yeah.
He does that joke where he like the punchline is he says salt and vinegar, but he cuts the v out of it, and he gets the whole crowd to say the N word.
Oh, wow.
and then like because he's like naming off things.
Yeah.
And I won't kill the bit because I can't do it or whatever. But at the end of it, then he like turns the lights on the whole crowd and he's like, "Who said it?"
Oh man!
Like I always think it's good when somebody can work the crowd.
Yeah, definitely. You remember that one like 3 to 4 year period where the Blue Collar Comedy Tour was on TV all the time?
Yeah, it was around the same time like the Kings of Comedy were real big.
Yeah.
Where you had like Bernie Mac and Cedric the Entertainer and like that group.
Right.
And there was like Blue Collar group.
Yeah. The Blue Collar Comedy Tour, I just remember that it was like you turned the TV on at any point during the day.
Yeah.
It was on. Like
there's some probably like especially if you put it on CMT, like
yeah, for
you
sure.
are going
You're
to
guaranteed to see it. Yeah. I will never forget that. I've seen this happen. I feel like I've seen this happen a couple times, where like a stand-up comedian will get a TV show, and like the first couple of episodes are just bits from their special.
Yeah.
Like the Bill Engvall show.
Yeah.
That's exactly what his was. He's like the first like 2 episodes of his show were just his stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, we've already seen this.
Yeah.
It's just in skit form now, and you're not a good actor.
Right. Yeah.
And then Jeff Dunham, the puppet guy.
Oh, he had a show?
He did. He had like he had a show, but it was like a skit show.
Oh,
it wasn't like a what do you call it? Like a sitcom. It was a sitcom. Bill Engvall's thing was a sitcom.
Yeah.
But the Jeff Dunham show was like a skit show, like Andrew Milonakis or something like that.
Wow, that's a blast from the fucking past.
But like each skit was just like a bit from his stand-up that we already saw. So yeah, it was it's always like, you could have come up with something new. It's kind of your job.
Yeah, I mean, and not to like continue to bring him up, but that's one of the reasons why I like Shane so much. It's because like Gillian Keeves is not.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him like work that in.
Yeah.
As far as like his bits are concerned and his stand up.
It's like completely separate.
Yeah. Like have you seen the one where he's like the OnlyFans dad?
Yes. He's riding that Simeon. So gross. It's so gross. he was like, listen to your mother. Like she had brought her boyfriend over for the first time. Yeah. He was like, nice to meet you. OnlyFans dad. It's so fucking funny. I like the Uncle Daycare one.
Oh, that's a good one too. That's a good one. I like the one where he's the used car salesman.
Yeah, Bob Isis.
Yeah, Bob Isis. He's like, you need to say that we blow up the competition.
Yeah. And he was like, I got you this to wear, and it was a suicide vest. He's like, I'm not fucking putting that on. He was like, you have any idea how hard it was to get this onto the subway?
Oh man. Yeah, I like a variety of comedy, which is nice because, like, of course, you have like the greats. Like Chappelle is one of like the greats.
Oh yeah, some might say the greatest of all time.
Yeah, some might say. But like all of his specials that have recently come out, like they've all been like he's knocked them out of the park.
Yeah,
like he's just one of those people that's what he's meant to do.
Yeah,
he found it
right. Yeah,
and he's worked really hard.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about comedy is like you can find something that like resonates with you.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be like the mainstream shit.
Right, yeah.
Right? So like some people really like Joe Rogan's stand up. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I enjoy his podcast, but his comedy really is not for me.
Right. Yeah.
Like I've tried before, like, I'll see it and I'll be like, I'll give it a shot. And then I'm like, nah. Yeah. Not a fan. And like some people kind of like fall out of favor. Like I used to like Andrew is John Mulaney.
John Mulaney.
Like John Mulaney is like stand up from like 10 years ago.
Right.
Like that was a really good one. He was talking about like the Salt and Pepper Diner.
Yeah.
And I kept playing What's New Pussycat.
Yeah.
Like that's a really good bit. That whole special is really good. Like his new stuff not so much, but I think a lot of that is because he was high on cocaine and then he got sober.
Got a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Which is like you see like guys that are like really good at comedy. Most of them are like really fucked up.
Yeah.
Like they're
like really bad on drugs.
Yeah, really bad on drugs.
I think that, one of the reasons I like Dave Chappelle so much is because, in addition to just being funny, he's such a good speaker. Yeah. And it's nice to listen to him talk. Right. Like he's very engaging. Like if I've never watched like a Dave Chappelle stand-up bit where I was like, oh, this is kind of dragging a little bit. Right. Or there's like a kind of a dull spot in the middle. It's like everything, you just kind of hang on every word that he says. Yeah. So he really knows how to capture a crowd. He's really good at like commanding a room. Yeah. Whereas like I feel like some comedians kind of like they waver in and out of that. In and out, yeah. Because like everybody's kind of like waiting for the punchline, but you have to set it up. Yeah. So if you're like losing interest, like as you're setting up the punchline, like then the punchline is going to fall flat. Yeah. Just. Yeah. Yeah. Louis C.K. of course. Oh yeah. Fucking love Louis C.K. Yeah. And his ability to like churn through like bits. Yeah. And just pump them out. Yeah. He was really funny. one of my all-time favorite bits he ever did was when the deer broke his side view mirror. And he just starts like shouting slurs
into the woods.
And it's like, no, I don't think any other, like, especially not a white dude. No other like white comedian could get there and shout the F word and the N word in rapid succession. And the thing that got him in trouble was jerking his willy in front of the ladies. It was funny when he came back and did stand up. He did a special after all that had went down. No. He talked about it. He was like, you guys have no idea how lucky you are that nobody knows what your thing is. He was like, Obama knows what my thing is.
Yeah, I mean, and the nice thing was, like, with comedy, too, like, some people are much better, like, with, like, long-form speaking as opposed to, like, setting up bits and, like, punchlines.
Right.
Like, Theo Vaughn has, like, a couple of bits that I like, but really where he shines is the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
for sure, yeah.
Like, that's, he does really well there.
That format works for him.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's you know, it's a combination of like finding your voice and finding your format, right?
Right.
Like, I think if you took like one of Mitch Hedberg's best stand-ups and one of Dave Chappelle's best stand-ups, and you had both of them do the other one's set,
right,
it would be very odd. It'd be very odd to hear Dave Chappelle do all those deadpan jokes and have Mitch Hedberg trying to like speak the way that Dave Chappelle does.
But it's nice because like comedy can come in like many forms. Like it's not just like the stand-up game. Like I feel like a lot of comics, like they probably do stand up to like help them and in like other areas or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure like just experiences that they have might not translate to a bit, but if they do sketch comedy as well, I'm sure there's probably instances where you get into a situation where you're like, oh, I could totally use this.
Yeah. I think that a lot of writers will do stand-up. Like, you know, if people who write for TV shows or movies or whatever, they'll do stand-up in order to, like, kind of workshop bits and everything. Because, like, that's going to be the best indication of whether or not you have something worth hanging on to.
To get feedback from
is if people laugh at it.
And especially not people that are, like, that work with you.
Other writers.
Right. Like, because your target audience is the audience.
Right.
So what better way to kind of gauge that?
Yeah.
I feel like that would be hard too, because then you would also have to like take into consideration like the actor that is going to be delivering this.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Like how is this line meant for them?
Yeah. Are you going to be? Can you? I wonder if there's some element of having to write for that actor.
Well, I'm sure.
Like I know that this actor really excels in such and such kind of delivery or such and such kind of thing. Like, I have to kind of mold my writing to fit that actor.
Right.
I'm sure, you know, a lot of it goes in the opposite direction, too. Like, we have to find the actor who fits this writing.
Right.
And so on and so forth.
Well, I think, too, like, especially, like, during the 90s, like, you had a lot of, like, sitcoms. Like, you had...
So fucking many.
Yeah. Like,
many.
You had Tim Allen with Home Improvement, where he was a previous stand-up comedian. And then you had Everybody Loves Raymond.
Full House.
Yeah, Full House. You had, I'm trying to think, there was Seinfeld. Like, all like, the big sitcoms.
Yeah.
Like, most of these people had some type of comedic, like, experience.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that like you could kind of give them a line and then be like, here's like my premise. Like, here's what I think would be funny. And like I've shopped it around. A bunch of people also think it's funny. Like, give me your take on it.
Right.
And then they could be like, oh, I think the character would say it this way.
Yeah.
Or like, here's how the character would deliver it. Like, I'm sure there was like a lot of stuff that was shopped to like Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah. And then he was like, no, let's do it this way. It would be better this way.
And it's kind of hard to argue with Jerry Seinfeld on that.
Right.
Yeah. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is another one. I'm pretty sure Will Smith did stand-up comedy for a while, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did quite a few different things. He did stand-up comedy. He did the TV show. I think he had like an actual rap career for a little while.
Yeah.
I don't think his rap ever really took off.
No. He's like a worse version of Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Because Jamie Foxx did stand-up comedy too.
That's fucking biting.
Yeah.
Biting commentary. I'm a big fan of Jamie Foxx. Love that guy.
And he's like a really good musician.
Oh, Jamie Foxx is? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He played Ray Charles in Ray.
Oh, but was he actually like...
Yes, he was playing the piano.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
He's a fantastic musician.
I didn't know that.
Funny enough, like I was looking up, I was just like looking at different bands and like looking to see like, oh, like who's still like around, like what bands like have churned some like membership or whatever. And I was looking, I was like, well, let's see, like, is Randy Blythe still like the lead vocalist for Lamb of God? And I was looking, like, apparently like they lost, what's their drummer's name? Steve Adler.
Yeah.
Steve Adler left the band. And I forget what their lead guitarist's name is, but his name is like Morgan or Morton or something like that. It's his last name. And so I like was looking. I was like, oh, like I really like a lot of his riffs.
Yeah.
I was like, let's read some more about him. And so like I was scrolling through, and there was like a thing, and it said the Juilliard School.
Yeah.
And I was like, no fucking way. And there was his name. And I got to reading with it. There was a picture. It's not him. There's just another guy. Oh. And I was like, damn.
Totally different dude.
He's like playing a cello.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of instances like that, especially in like famous bands.
Dumb.
Where like the singers or the guitarists will like hold PhDs or like, you know, actually did go to Juilliard or, you know, something like that.
Yeah. Well, I think, oh, fuck, who was it? There was...
Is it the guy from Led Zeppelin has like a PhD in biology or some shit?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Because
Robert Plant, I think.
Yeah, a lot of the guys back then, like, they had careers.
Yeah.
They, like, music was not necessarily, like, the thing that they, like, that was, like, if it takes off, that's great.
Right, yeah.
But, like, a lot of those guys did have backup plans.
It's crazy to think that, like, fucking Led Zeppelin, a lot of their songs, like Kashmir, did Kashmir start in a fucking garage? Is that where that song came from? You know, before it made it out to onto the waves, radio waves. Also, you know, like back then, you know, we've said it a couple times before, but like, you know, obviously the internet didn't exist back then. So like all of your like promotion was like word of mouth and like your friends and like telling people and going to venues and stuff like that.
Like doing the road work.
Yeah.
And
like Led Zeppelin had their first show.
Right.
They had their first show at some shitty little venue.
Right.
Where they were probably like on the same ground level as the crowd. You know what I mean?
Well, like I think back at like, you remember when there was Insomnia here in our town that we grew up in.
Yeah, you know, Atreyu is playing at Welcome to Rockville.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, and they used to play at Insomnia.
I think it was them and Anne Boleyn, had played there before.
Yeah.
Like, there was a couple bands that, like, I was like, oh, shit, like, I saw them when they were at the venue over there.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I remember, like, growing up, like, I was like, that's really fucking cool that, like, we have a venue here in town.
Yeah.
That, like, you can go see live music. And, like, it wasn't expensive. Like, you could get in for fairly cheap.
Yeah, it was. That was a really cool place. I only went there a handful of times. I think I saw Chris's band perform there a couple times. I performed there once with my band that didn't have a singer.
Yeah. Well, y'all sounded good. It was just like nobody was singing. It was just an instrumental.
Yeah, but it wasn't an instrument. The song was built to have a singer. Like, it was structured like with verses and choruses, but there was nobody singing. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's not like y'all are like up there playing like a band like as Animals as Leaders where there's like math metal. And
No, it wasn't anything quite like that.
your drummer's back there going, it's like doing lots of coke off there.
Yeah. Funny enough, the drummer from that band took off and did his own rap career.
Yes.
Riding to Atlanta.
Young Brio.
One of my favorite things is if you go to his YouTube channel, he's got several like music videos that he made with his dad, and like one of them, I don't remember which one, but one of them, it opens up and it says title text here.
Nice.
It sets the mood for the whole thing. While we're on the topic of music, let's jump into our Super Crins Thursday.
Oh yes, take it away, please.
So, for anybody who didn't see it, our Super Cringe Thursday pick for this week is a song by Baby Kaylee, who is somebody's daughter that they tried to force into like a rap pop career. I don't think it took hold. A lot of it may have to do with the fact that one of her hit songs was about the fucking Sandy Hook shooting. I think I said it was 4 weeks after the shooting happened.
No.
Yeah, it was like 4 weeks. Like, because the shooting happened in December, and that they released that song in like January 11th or something like that. Produced by will.i.am.
Oh, very nice.
From Black Eyed Peas. And it's just a song. It's a little girl. She's like, I don't know, 7 or 8, something like that.
A child,
an actual fucking child who may have been shot at Sandy Hook Elementary School. And she's singing about all the kids that died or whatever. But it's not earnest.
No.
It's very, very scummy.
Yeah.
It's very like, this is obviously a cash grab.
Right. I'm trying to capitalize on this tragedy.
I'm trying to capitalize off the death of these children.
Right.
It's like the only reason that there's a 7-year-old girl singing is because they know exactly how bad this looks.
Right.
But maybe people won't care as much if it's a 7-year-old girl. The song itself is your typical run-of-the-mill pop music, little like safe rap song.
No.
So in that regard, it's inoffensive, but in that regard only. One of the comments on the video was like, "Could you imagine if Alex Jones had done this instead?" And somebody was like, "If anybody needed to be fined $1 billion." Yeah, it's just.
I think it makes it more egregious that you have gathered children and having them sing it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, cause like,
it makes it worse.
Do the kids even really kind of grasp?
No.
Like the brevity of the whole thing.
Well, okay, imagine if you were a child.
Yeah.
Like, even if you were a kid, let's say that you're a kid and you're at school and there's an active shooter, and then one of your friends gets shot in another room. You don't see it happen.
Yeah.
It's like, as a child, like you don't process that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to you.
How could you?
Yeah. Whereas, like, these kids probably aren't from fucking Sandy Hook.
No. She's like, from California.
Yeah, there's some California fucking kid. Yeah. And they're just, like, singing about these dead fucking kids. And it's like, these kids don't, like, none of this is clicking with them.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't process. So
it's obviously not for kids.
It's not for children.
Yeah.
What it is,
the song was not for kids.
It's a virtue signal into the universe.
It was, I think, honestly, here I'm gonna give will.i.am the benefit of the doubt here, and I'm going to say that the whole point was to release a music video that was so fucking tone deaf and stupid that people would flock to YouTube to view the video and get it up to the 72 million views that it has now. And I believe 72 million views is like, let's see, you get, I think it's $1 per 1,000 views, right? I think that's the CPM.
Is that what it is now?
Yeah, so that's, let's see. They made about $72,000 off of that one video. I hope all those dead children were worth it.
Yeah.
You fucking scumbag. The hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, just like standing on their graves.
Yeah. Fucking bodies aren't even cold yet. I bet all those funerals haven't even happened yet.
Right. Like, it's bad, like, when people will do, like a segment or whatever, like, for TV, where they're, like, talking about it.
Yeah.
And, like, pointing the finger at, like, you caused this to happen.
People soapboxing on that kind of thing.
But a music video?
A fucking music video?
A music video?
With a child?
Yeah.
Have you lost your goddamn mind?
Like, it would have been better off had there been no children in this music video.
Yeah.
And because what you're doing
better off if it just didn't happen.
is you're circumventing the responsibility of having the shit put on you when people go, what the fuck is wrong with you? And you're like, well, the kids.
Yeah, it's
I have children in this music video.
You know, it seems like the video is so tone deaf that it seems like something that would be in that show The Boys.
No.
You know what I mean? Because like the whole like in the show The Boys, you have that company who they're basically like a superhero company.
Right. Is it Vosh?
Vault.
Vosh is a
pedophile, bestiality enjoyer, liberal commentator. In The Boys, for anybody who hasn't seen it, there's a company called Vought. They basically are a superhero company. They make superheroes, and they promote them, and they put them in the movies, and they do this, that, the other. They use them to make money. And so there are often times in the show where a tragedy occurs, and their immediate concern is how do we capitalize off of it. And it seems so ridiculous, and it seems so outlandish until you see some fucking shit like this happen in the real fucking world, and you're like, oh, maybe it's not that far off base.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it, and I was like, what the fuck? What is this?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't make it all the way through I think I made it to the chorus.
No.
I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
Now they up in heaven. What the fuck is wrong with you? Who signed off on this? Which one of you fucking Jews signed off on this? I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I wouldn't have done it.
No,
I wouldn't have done it. And if it was
my kid,
I would have
advised against it.
Yeah, if it was my kid, I'm gonna guess that baby Kaylee has been trying to. Her parents have been trying to get her music career up off the ground.
Yeah,
and they probably have some money and some connections with some people in the industry. Obviously, they do. They got will.i.am to do this thing. And if I had to guess, they approached. Somewhat, I'm trying to figure out who approached who about this.
Right.
I think that maybe they came to baby Kaylee and said, hey, we have this song we want to do about the fucking Sandy Hook shooting.
No.
Do you think baby Kaylee would be interested in doing it? And her parents were like, well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely they would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that maybe rap music isn't the medium of which you would speak out against violence.
Yeah, maybe not rap music. Maybe not.
I think metal and rap are probably off the table.
yeah, pretty much. I just, out of curiosity, I jumped over to baby Kaylee's YouTube page. In the description, it says, my name is Kaylee, a.k.a. baby Kaylee. I've been rapping since I was 4 years old. No, you haven't. You've been babbling since you were 4 years old.
You read Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. I'm 18 now, and I've accumulated lots of videos over the year, yada, yada, yada. So I'm just curious. She has, she has her most viewed video, surprisingly, is not the Sandy Hook Elementary song. No, it is a song called Ew. It's a cover by Jimmy Fallon and will.i.am, and then it just says 10-year-old kid rapper. It's got 293 million views. This is gross. You're pimping out your kid. That's all this is. You're pimping out your kid. Oh, she's like a grown adult now. That's weird.
I guess, speaking of child endangerment, I watched the series that y'all were talking about.
Oh, Quiet on Set.
Yeah, well, I made it to the end of the second episode.
Yeah.
But I know where this heads. So
yeah, it doesn't go anywhere good.
It doesn't go anywhere good.
No.
So maybe we could go. Maybe we could talk about that.
Yeah, let's lighten the mood a little bit.
Let's just segue right into that.
Yeah. So we're talking about there's a documentary on. Was it on Discovery? I think it's on Discover Plus.
Yeah, we saw it on. They had it on HBO or they had it on Max.
It's on a few different places.
Oh.
It's a documentary about. Excuse me. Sorry. It's a documentary about a lot of the kids that worked for Nickelodeon, like back in the 90s, early 2000s. Like on shows like All That. All That was a big one. because it was like an ensemble cast of children.
Yeah, Keenan and Kel.
The Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, yada yada. And a lot of it had to do with Dan Schneider, right? Who was like the guy.
Fucking freak.
One of the most insane double chins I've ever seen on a person.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's crazy, that double chin. But he's this dude that was what was his title? Producer, director, maybe.
I think he started off as like a writer.
A writer,
maybe.
I don't remember, but his first shot at a show, I'm pretty sure it was All That.
Yes, yeah, I think he was a writer on All That.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, yeah, he was a writer on All That.
Yeah,
and then his first like brainchild show was The Amanda Show.
I thought there was something before that.
I think The Amanda Show was like his big thing.
Right. I think he like became the lead writer and then like the executive producer of All That.
Maybe.
Because I think there was like some steps in between that. Like he wasn't just a writer and then they gave him The Amanda Show.
Right. Yeah.
I think like he also worked on like Keenan and Kel.
Yeah.
And then there were other things where he was like like a producer there.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the folks in the documentary are people who worked for or worked with Dan Schneider, and they talked about how like he would always ask the female employees on set to like give him a massage in his chair, squeeze his big fat sweaty shoulders, and jiggle his double chin, and he would also like. He would make like the female writers in the room like debase themselves.
Yeah, that one was wild.
The girl was like, she was like telling a joke, and Dan Schneider was like, tell that joke again, but bend over the table and pretend you're being sodomized while you tell it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck?
This is a kid's show they were working on. What is all this? Yeah. But of course, the women, they felt like, this is way before the Me Too movement happened. Right. So the women felt,
This was back in the 90s where everybody was ripping coke off the writer's table.
Yeah. Obviously they felt that, like, I got to do whatever this guy says, otherwise I'm out of a job.
Right.
And it was two women who were writing, who were on the writer's team or whatever, and they made them share a salary.
Yeah.
Or Dan, well, let's say they. That was really Dan.
Yeah.
Dan's whole thing was he made them share a salary.
Right.
And then, like, with the one girl kind of spoke up about it, he threatened to, like, make sure she never worked in the industry again.
And it was like after that, like, she took it to litigation or something like that.
Yeah.
And then apparently, I guess she said she's been, like, blackballed from the industry. Like, she can't get work anymore.
Yeah. It's unbelievable what the fucking people went through.
So the first episode, it seems like they kind of do like the rise of
the rise, like the fucking Emperor Palpatine,
like the rise of Dan Schneider,
like, the rise of Dan Schneider,
like going into like the Amanda Show, and then which is really kind of crazy because there was like that other girl, and I don't remember what her name was.
I don't either.
But I guess
I know who you're talking about, though. She was like his golden girl for a little while.
Right. And then like she went through puberty and like got tits and everything, and he's like, I can't use you anymore.
Yeah.
Which is odd because
you're not attractive to me anymore.
Which is odd because he didn't do that with Amanda.
No.
So but anyway, like I guess that was the show that she was supposed to have.
Yeah.
And then like they found Amanda Bynes out
of nowhere. At the Laugh Factory, I think.
Yeah, at the Laugh Factory, like Charleston or something like that.
No, that's in LA.
Is it LA?
Yeah.
And then for like, I think they said she was like 10 years old. She was like a kid. She wasn't very old at all.
A child, yeah.
And then, of course, she started off on like All That, and then she had the Amanda Show, and then he like went with her to the CW to be like an executive producer or like a co-producer.
On that teen show. What was it?
It was like Suddenly 16 or something like that.
No, it was a What I Like About You.
Is that the one?
Is that what it was called? It was like a tween drama show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about like, oh, I'm a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
I really like this boy.
Yeah. Riveting. But, man, they fucking... You want to talk about somebody who got chewed up and spat out?
Yeah.
Amanda friggin' Bynes got...
Yeah, like looking at that now, I'm like, no wonder she's a fucking nutbag.
Yeah.
No
everything
fucking wonder.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's, like, the part where he's, like, doing an interview with her while they're sitting in a fucking hot tub.
Yeah.
The wildest one was where they had fucking Ariana Grande.
Oh,
like pouring fucking water and like gagging on this water. I was like, what
and sucking her own toes.
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
Yeah. How could anybody be on set that day and filming that? How could like the camera guy who's standing there filming Ariana Grande as a fucking like tween pouring water all over herself?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to walk away from this.
Right.
I cannot be a part of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, y'all are all a bunch of fucking pedophiles.
Yeah. Or the cum shot joke with Jamie Lynn Spears from Zoe 101. And it was funny, the people who were talking about were like, we realized straight away that that's what that was. That was a cum shot joke in a little kid's show.
Well, I remember like seeing stuff, and I was probably maybe 13 or 14 when some of like the later all that like that kind of stuff rolled out. Like I watched Drake and Josh like a little bit. Yeah. But like I was already kind of past it at that point.
I was into Drake and Josh.
Right. So you're a couple of years younger than me, so that you were the target demographic for that show. And like so there were certain things like that where going back now I assume like if I watched it I'd be like, this is completely fucking inappropriate.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like as a
little
kid,
fetus.
Yeah, little fetus.
Oh Jesus! How did little fetus get greenlit?
But like you see shit like that, and then you like, but as a kid, like that doesn't register.
No.
Like, you wouldn't know.
You're
like,
just looking at this is goofy.
Yeah, you wouldn't be like, oh, that's a fucking money shot joke.
Yeah, no, you'd have no idea.
Yeah, like.
And if you did, that's just cause for alarm there.
Yeah, it's like you're not supposed to see that for another couple years in 9th grade math class when Cody shows it to you on his PSP.
Yeah.
But it was kind of interesting to watch all that kind of unfold.
Yeah.
I didn't get through the last episode because I think I'm gonna fall asleep.
Have you gotten to where Drake Bell comes out and starts talking about his stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. And then like he kind of talks about how the dude had like a bunch of John Wayne Gacy.
He had he had letters.
Yeah, it was like a pen pal.
He was like a pen pal with fucking John Wayne Gacy.
And everybody's like, oh,
interesting. You've been talking to a serial killer. Please take my son unsupervised for hours at a time.
What did that was the most amazing thing to me.
Yeah.
Like to watch these parents be like, I don't know.
Well, what was really upsetting about, especially Drake Bell, was, his parents, they split, right? And I guess the dad really kind of lost custody.
Yeah.
Or whatever. He wasn't allowed to be as involved anymore. And he told Drake's dad told his mom, do not let that guy, the guy's name was Brian Peck. He's like, do not let Brian Peck around Drake at all. Whatever.
Yeah.
No matter what you do not let them be around him uncircumcised. Unsupervised.
I put the foreskin back on.
Yeah.
Give us back our foreskins.
I mean, he called it right away. He knew right away. And it's so unfortunate. It's so fucking sad that it happened anyway. That Drake Bell was abused anyway. Like, to the worst possible degree.
Right.
I just can imagine, like, as a father, just kind of always, like, having that fear that it was going to happen.
Right.
And then, especially it happened anyway.
Especially after I have explicitly told you not to do the thing that you did.
For sure.
And you did it anyway. It's not, and now you have I can't say the word.
Irreparably.
Yes. Harmed our child.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's we can never fix this.
Can never ever fix that.
We can never fix this.
That's fucked forever. Yeah. One of the craziest things was that guy, Brian Peck, he abused Drake Bell, and then like he went to trial, and all those other like people in the industry showed up, and were on his side in the court and like wrote the letters talking about how like it was out of character. And the weird thing is like a lot of those people in the industry wrote letters in support of Brian Peck. A lot of the language was exactly the same, almost like they were coached on what to say.
Well, another crazy thing it might have been the same one because in the second episode, like right there towards the end, there was him and there was like another guy that was like he was like an assistant or something.
The younger dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got caught.
Yeah. You know what? He did that thing that like all weirdos do where they write down the fact that they want to diddle kids.
Yeah.
They just
journal it.
Create all this like incriminating evidence.
Right.
And I don't know why do y'all do that? Why write on a piece of paper I want to diddle kids and like stick it in your nightstand like that'll stay there forever unseen by the world. And it's like every time someone gets caught with like child porn, it's always like 30 terabytes.
Right.
400,000 separate images. It's like never like a dude like with a picture on his phone.
Right.
It's always like some insane amount. Right. Yeah.
It's just some fucking freak. Like, so, but it was like back to back. Like these, like, like both like found these pedophiles like back to back.
Right.
And it just seemed, especially like when the second guy, when they had all the lawyers come in, and they're like, anybody had anything weird happen with this guy? Yeah. And then all the kids were like, no. And they're like, okay. And they like all walked out, and they made the parents leave the room.
Yeah.
And then the lawyers came and talked to the kids.
Yeah.
Like if I was a parent, I'd be like, there's no fucking way.
No, absolutely not. I'm not leaving this room.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my fucking kid. Anything you have to say to them, you can say it in front of me.
Right.
And that guy, Brian Peck, whatever, he goes to trial, and I think he goes to prison for 16 months. After everything he did, 16 months was all he got. And then he gets released, and he goes to fucking work for Disney. And Disney ended up firing him like later down the road.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we didn't know.
You mean sort of like how Disney has the showrunner for The Acolyte? You know who she is?
Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant.
Yep. She was pimping out all those girls to Harvey.
God almighty, dude.
See, that's the issue that I have with like the ally movement is that there's so many shitty people that fucking hide behind it because they know that they can't be touched like in public.
They can't be questioned.
Yeah, they can't be questioned about their motives.
Yeah.
It's like, and the thing is like you have like these movements that are very empathetic towards people that have actual grievances.
Yeah.
Like people that were in like the LGB community.
Right.
That, for many, many years, like people...
They were treated as second-class citizens.
They were treated a certain way.
Yeah.
It's like, and you didn't see people identifying as LGB because it was difficult.
Right.
But now that it's trendy and cool.
Oh, yeah.
And that they can't be touched. Now you have a bunch of real fucking pieces of shit latching onto your movement.
Who are like, I can just be a piece of shit all I want.
Yeah.
And as long as I say that I'm gay, you can't touch me.
It's sort of like
Kevin Spacey. Yeah.
Yep, perfect example.
Maybe P. Diddler will do the same thing.
I think it's so wild that, like, after Cat Williams came out and said it, everybody's like, yeah.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
It's for real now. Yeah.
It's like I saw a clip where he's, like, talking. I don't know who the guy is, but it's like a big table. And I guess they're doing like a podcast or something, like an interview.
Yeah.
And he's like, when me and you gonna party? And the guy's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you came to my birthday party. Like, you were at the party with everyone. He's like, no, I'm talking about me and you. And he's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Wait, P. Diddy is saying this to the guy?
And the dude like says back to P. Diddy, he's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, when am I going to get to fuck you?
Yeah, like, when am I going to get to stick my wiener in your butthole?
Never. Like, Buff Daddy, how about that?
It's never going to happen.
Not going to happen. Bucko. All I got to say is it's really bad optics when they come to search your house and you flee the country.
Yeah, to a place where you can be extradited.
I also saw, supposedly they're looking at Jay-Z now too.
Oh, really?
They're investigating him or whatever.
Interesting.
And it's like, we were talking about it. I was talking about it with some people at work, and I was like, you're married to Beyonce. Why do you want to fuck kids? Like, what? You won. Like, what are we doing here?
Maybe she's fucking kids too.
You're snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah. Like, what are we doing? And one of my coworkers had mentioned, it's got to be a power thing, right? It's like there are some things, like you got all this fucking money,
right?
Literally, there's literally nothing. You have no worries about anything. You don't have to worry about if you're going to get fed, if you're going to be able to be kept safe.
Yeah, send your kids to college.
You have nothing to ever worry about. It's like, but the one thing that you can't have, I guess, is a little boy's butthole. So,
well, I mean,
maybe there's some kind of power thing there where you feel like I could have that if I wanted that. I got all this other shit.
Well, I mean, you like look at people that are like very, very, very wealthy. Like you look at Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Like Bill Gates is not concerned with continuing to increase his wealth.
Right.
Like he's not looking to be the richest man in the world. He's top 10.
Yeah.
He might be top 3. But for him now, it's power. Yeah. How do I control people? How do I make them do what I want them to do?
Yeah. How did I convince Texas to let me bioengineer mosquitoes and release them over the populace?
What the fuck?
What the fuck, man? You see that video where he got pied in the face twice?
No.
He's walking into like some I don't know, convention center or whatever. There's like people. This is like in the 90s where he was like, everybody, everyone knows Bill Gates is or whatever.
Yeah.
And like they're filming him walking up, and this is before he had like his huge tits.
Yeah.
This guy, he hops out from behind a pillar and just fucking pow, a cream pie just right in the face, like hits him fucking hard.
Yeah.
And then like they're like, he's like, oh, whatever. And like his security detail's like trying to usher him into the building. Yeah. Before they get him in the building, another guy pops out and hits him in the face. I saw somebody was like, this is the point when Bill Gates decided that the rest of us were going to eat bugs.
But yeah, I mean, it would make sense that when you have Jay-Z and Beyonce, where like what else is there for you to do?
Yeah. Well, have you ever seen like?
Not that I'm not condoning it.
No,
at all.
No, not at all.
At all.
But
I think you're a real fucking piece of shit.
Trying to figure out why it happens.
Yeah, like why the fuck are you doing this?
Yeah. I mean, you ever see where like all the Hollywood elite, like the richest of the rich, will get together and have white parties?
Mm-mm.
It's where they all dress in white. They all dress in all white.
Yeah.
And they go to like some beach house and they mingle and they show off their wealth to one another. And it was like, I guarantee you, there's some fucked up shit happening at that party.
Oh yeah.
Listen. Yeah, I guarantee you.
Listen, it's not just Epstein Island, all right? That's not just like the isolated, like, kid-fucker island.
Yeah, that's not the only one where it happened.
Right. It's like, I'm very certain that there's, like, other fucked up shit going on. And it's like, it's sort of like
all
the whole...
over the country.
Yeah, it's sort of like the Bohemian Grove thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where everybody's like, what is that?
Yeah.
It's like, and they're just like, oh, no. Like, you misunderstand.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. Ha, ha, ha. We're real funny.
We're worshiping Moloch in the woods as a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. With nobody around to play the joke on.
Right.
Yeah. Who was that guy that... It was some UFC fighter who... He hosted a... Twitter has a thing called Spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Where people can get together and have like basically a big Zoom call with each other.
Yeah.
And he hosted a space, and he was telling somebody, I think Andrew Tate. It was some UFC fighter. He was telling Andrew Tate, he was like, I have proof that all of these people, he was like the president, the royal family, the yada yada, everybody, they've been fucking kids out here in was it the Redwood Park, Grand Sequoia, something or another park?
Sequoia National Park.
Sequoia National Park.
There's Sequoia National Park, and there's the Redwood National Park.
He's like, they've been fucking these kids out in Sequoia National Park. He's like, I'm not fucking scared anymore. I'm gonna tell the truth. And then, like, nothing ever came of it.
Is it Sean Strickland?
I don't think it was Sean Strickland. No, Sean Strickland is too busy.
He's been on the warpath.
Yeah, he's been
recently.
clowning on gay people for a couple of months now. Just out of nowhere.
Like, that's a odd axe to grind, but
yeah.
All right.
It all started when that one dude asked him, like, what his thoughts were on, like, trans people. And he just hasn't been the same man ever since.
He's just been on the warpath.
Yeah. I mean, you ask a guy who gets punched in the head for a living what his thoughts are on anything, don't be surprised when you get some weird answers.
Well, you know, it's just interesting because, like, you look at, like, all of these, like look at the Nickelodeon thing. Yeah. There's all kinds of fucked up shit going on.
Yeah.
This is a fucking kids channel.
Mm-hmm. There are no sacred spaces.
This is meant for children. Yeah. It's like, and then you have the Epstein Island shit happening. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty certain that all of the conspiracy theories that have been told where everybody goes, no, that's just a fucking crackpot. Don't listen to him.
Yeah.
It's like, no wonder, like, all these child actors grow up and lose their fucking minds.
Yeah.
No wonder, fuck, what's his name? The kid from the Goonies. Mouth. Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
No wonder Corey Feldman is a fucking whack job.
Yeah.
No wonder Screech's a fucking whack job.
Yeah.
No wonder Shia LaBeouf is a fucking whack job.
You know, there are very few of them, very, very few of them who manage to get through it and continue on with a career as an adult.
Right. I mean, look at, like, Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes.
Just, like I said, chewed up and spat out, man.
Right.
I remember Lindsay Lohan was big.
Yeah, like her big...
For like 3-4 years.
Yeah, the thing that, like, her jumping off point was The Parent Trap.
Yeah.
Like, that was sort of like what jump-started her career. And I think
was she in Mean Girls?
I
don't think she was.
I don't think so. I don't think she was in Mean Girls. She was, I'm trying to remember what all she was in. I just remember The Parent Trap because that was, like, her first big movie. And then there was,
oh, wait, she was in Mean Girls.
She was in Mean Girls?
She's like the main character in Mean Girls.
I've honestly seen, like, bits and pieces of that movie. I've never watched that thing the whole way through. What else has she been in?
She was in something called 8th Grade, I think. I don't know. She was in Herbie.
I remember that movie.
I remember Herbie.
Yeah, Herbie.
Yeah. Of course, Parent Trap.
She was, like, in a couple things, though, right?
Yeah, but everything she was in was big, though.
Right.
That's the thing. Everything she was in was massively popular.
Well, I think a lot of that kind of goes to show you that, like, the machine was behind her at the time, right?
Yeah. She's in a... I think she's in Hallmark movie now. I think she's in Hallmark movies now. Oh, heavens. Lindsay, what happened, baby?
I remember there was, like, there was a TV show where she was, like, running a nightclub or something.
Was there? Like a reality thing?
Yeah, like a reality thing where she was, like, running a nightclub.
Like she was running a nightclub for real in real life? And
yeah,
they made
like
a TV
in real
show
life
about
they
it?
made a TV show about her running this nightclub or whatever.
Oh.
And she was just fucking...
Was not doing a good job, or
no? She was fucking high.
Oh wow, that's
the
not
entire time.
That's not surprising.
Like I just remember there's like one where her eyes are rolled back in her head, and she's like talking to the bartender, and she's like, "You just need to do a better job."
Oh my god!
Of mingling with the customers. And the bartender's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
He's like, "Somebody get this fucking ghoul away from me." There's a fucking ghoul in here.
Like, it's very uncommon that you'll see, like, a child actor make it out of it.
Yeah.
Like, most of them, they'll quit. And that's what saves them. Like,
well, a lot of those people in that documentary, that quit out of the whole thing after all that.
Right.
They still carry a lot of trauma about it, but it didn't wreck them the way that it did some of these other
They're better
people.
off than they would have been had they continued down the path.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like if you look at like people that are like have private lives. I'm trying to think of like who is big, like Hillary Duff. You don't hear anything about Hillary Duff any fucking more.
She just kind of got her bag and got out.
Got the fuck out and went and has living her own fucking life.
Yeah.
Like she's not dealing with this anymore.
Dakota Fanning.
Yep, Dakota
Fanning was in lots of stuff.
Was it her big one was Raising Arizona?
Maybe. I remember that she was also in War of the Worlds.
Yep.
And I remember that she was in the Cat in the Hat movie.
That was her, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. She was very young in that movie. Yeah.
Did you know that the girl that plays Cindy Lou Who is in like a rock band?
Oh yeah, pretty good rock band too. The Pretty Reckless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't realize that until somebody told me. I was like, "Get the fuck out of there!" No, no. And I went and looked up, and that's her.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like they're actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she reminds me a lot of like Joan Jett.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, it's good that that she kept on at least with singing. Like
Right.
she clearly had talent for singing. Well, that's a sad situation. Like her parents like took all her money from the Grinch and basically squandered it. So she has nothing to show for it.
Yeah, I mean and
she probably doesn't like it when people bring up the fact that she's Cindy Lou Who.
Well, I mean, you got to figure that the type of parents that are putting their kids into these situations
in the first place
are probably not good people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, look at like all these YouTube families.
Oh God, they're the worst.
The fucking worst.
They're the worst.
Like Allison was watching some documentary the other day, or it was a documentary. It was like a 2020.
Yeah.
And it was about this like Mormon lady that ran like a YouTube channel, and she at some point was having issues with her husband. They were like going through marital issues, and so like she goes to see this like therapist.
Yeah.
And the therapist like works with the Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day Saints, like directly out of Salt Lake City, which is like that's where I guess the headquarters is for the Mormon Church. And she has a track record of like ruining marriages, but like nobody's talking about it.
Really?
Where she'll separate the men and women.
Yeah.
And then like she'll go into
them against one another.
And she'll like go into the women's group and she's like, all your husbands are watching like all this like crazy porn and jerking off. Yeah. And all the women are like, and then like all the guys are like being like, I fucked up here, like I could do better here.
It feels like lately like she doesn't trust me anymore.
Yeah. And so anyway, this therapist like essentially moves in with this fucking couple.
Yeah.
And she's like going on their anniversary dinner. Like, yeah.
What?
And then then she tells the wife like, your husband won't stop watching porn and he has a lust addiction and you need to kick him out of the house. And so she kicks him out of the house and says that you can't see your children.
Jesus.
And then so this Mormon lady starts doing these Facebook Live things with this therapist girl, and they're like talking about this therapist lady's like her business model, and like all this crazy shit. You'd have to watch it. But
she sounds like a fucking batshit insane person.
But anyway, like they have like 8 kids, and 2 of them are like
as Mormons typically
like
do.
They're young. Like one is like I think one was like 11, and the other one was like 9.
Yeah,
they might have been younger than that.
Wow, so they were really squeezing them out there for a while.
And so the youngest boy like walks up like. It's like they live in the fucking desert. Like most of Utah's a fucking desert, right? Yeah. And so this kid like walks up to the house.
There's like one tree in Salt Lake City,
right? And so the kid like walks up this house, and they said he weighed maybe 90 pounds, and they were talking about he's like 11 years old.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how like he it was just skin and bones.
Yeah.
And like he had like duct tape. And
duct tape
and like saran wrap like around his wrists and ankles.
What the fuck?
And they're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And so they went to the house and they found the little girl like in the back and just like sitting there, and she was non-responsive.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't get her to talk, and they started like finding out more about this fucking lady.
These are the
therapist and the wife.
Okay, yeah.
And so the cops go and they break down the door and they pull the therapist woman out of this house. And there's like a panic room with like handcuffs and like all this shit. They were making that little boy sleep outside. Like they would let him in the house.
Really?
Yeah. And then like they would like make him walk barefoot down to this like cemetery, like in this like scorching heat.
Good God.
And so, and then like the wife was like, she's like, well, I don't. She was like, and of course there was like a journal where she like explained everything that they were doing.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I was talking about. They just incriminate themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like they finally get a hold of like the husband. They're like, and they like bring him in for questioning.
Yeah.
And he didn't know that any of this was going on.
Wow.
Because like she essentially told him you can't see your kids.
Right.
And then, like,
was it like a court ordered thing? Like,
no,
she took him to
like,
court, like
she was like, you need to go work on yourself and deal with your porn addiction before you can come see your children.
Yeah.
And so, like, he went off, and who's to say he even had a porn addiction?
Yeah, right? He's like, I'll show her, I'll get a real porn addiction.
He like comes up with like assless chaps and a leather hat on.
Yeah, just all into it.
And so
he's like, I got it out of my system. It's on the outside now.
But it was, I'll see if I can find it and I'll send it to you because it was pretty crazy to watch. But
yeah.
I told Allison, I was like, I bet I know what happened. Because there's like videos of like this therapist lady and the wife, because she had a big YouTube channel, I guess, at some point and was making a lot of money.
Oh, really?
And it's like, I guarantee you that the therapist who had claimed that certain people were child molesters and got them kicked out of the church and blackballed and got sued in court and lost. Like, I guarantee you that she saw this woman making a whole bunch of money and she said, I'm going to get me some of that.
Yeah.
And so she got her to kick her husband out and then she moved in. And I also think she was a lesbian and she was trying to have a tryst.
Trying to jam clams with this lady and abuse her children. God, people are just
are so fucked up. Like,
so
what?
Fucked up. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine treating a little kid that way.
No.
Like making him sleep outside and not feeding it, and like what in the actual fuck?
Yeah, and then they were talking about like on his birthday they put a trampoline in the yard and made him jump on the trampoline for 8 hours.
Like he's a fucking Japanese POW.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking like a movie Unbroken. They made him hold a fucking railroad tie above his head. If you drop it, we're gonna shoot you. God almighty, dude. Yeah, if I was the dad, and I found out that my kids were being treated that way,
there'd be hell to pay.
I'd be on a fucking warpath.
Right.
Yeah, I would. I'm not going to say what I would do.
Well,
I'm not going to say it out
but
loud.
like as a father, there's no way in fucking hell in the first place that I'm going to let you tell me that I can't see my fucking kids.
Yeah, I'm not going to take that lane
I will
now.
drag your ass to court.
Yeah.
And we'll settle it there.
Like I'll see my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids will see me beating your ass. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and ruin them even more. It's like I was 5. My dad beat the shit out of my mom. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I don't even know what I would do.
Like, it just kind of amazes me that people are like, oh, okay. Oh, well, I'll go work on it, and I'll see you and the kids later.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that.
Have a fucking spine.
Yeah, fuck that.
Have a fucking spine. Stand up for yourself.
I don't know. I guess, like, I just got enough fuck me in you.
Yeah. Wait, fuck you and me, you meant?
Or fuck you and me, fuck me and you, or whatever. Whatever. But, like, there's enough, like...
I got a lot of fuck me in me.
I guess there's enough of fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
Yeah. Well, we both have a problem with authority, so
yeah.
That's probably where a lot of that comes from.
Well, I mean, our grandpa did run moonshine for a while, so...
Well, maybe it's genetic to some degree.
Maybe it's a genetic disorder.
Yeah, our grandpa, the bootlegger. I don't know, man. I just like...
I just find
if you're gonna be fucked up, but just leave kids out of it, man.
It's just kind of amazing to me, like how many people are fucked up and then they like subject their family to it.
Yeah,
like especially like their kids.
Yeah, you're gonna deal with all this, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, especially with family, people give way too much ground to their family members who are fucking up their lives.
Right.
Like, if I had a family member who was fucking my life up, you would get no ground from me.
No.
Not a fucking morsel, none of it. If you start disturbing the peace of my life,
right.
I don't give a fuck that I'm related to you. You are not going to taint my peace.
Right.
It's not happening. Like, you're not going to get involved with, with my wife, my kids, anything like that.
Nope, I'll cut your ass right off.
Right the fuck off. Yeah.
I got no patience for it. Especially, like, as I get older, my patience is waning.
Yeah, I know.
even more.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like my duty first and foremost is to, like, my immediate my family.
Yeah,
right?
you, your wife, your children.
Right, yeah. Like, at the end of the day, I have to protect these people.
Right.
And if it means I have to protect them from some crazy-ass aunt, that's what I'll do.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I would rather it be some nobody.
No.
That way I can just fucking shoot them and not have to worry about it.
I mean, it's just one of those things where, I don't know, I feel like as a society, like, men need to protect their families more.
Yeah.
Like, more actively being involved with, like, that role.
Yeah, I agree.
Which, I mean, there's, like, a lot of shit that you could go over
yeah,
with, like,
gender
why it
roles
is
and
the way that it
yada,
is,
yeah.
where it's, like, fourth wave feminism, and, like, they hate, like, chivalry. And
Well, if you let the women handle it, they just let the fucking prisoners out. And then they get punched in the face in New York City. And then they don't know what happened. Why is this happening?
Here I go killing again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do like 57 priors, and they're like, oh no, you got to let him out, and they kill somebody, and they're like, oh well.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't there was a guy that had let out, and they ended up like finding like body parts like in a shower drain or some shit like that.
Something like that.
Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Anybody who's advocating for prison reform needs to be looked at closely.
Right. I think we should put them in the prison for a little bit.
Yeah. There was that guy that went on fucking Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh,
and they did a whole podcast about how the prison system needs to be like redone. And then like a day later, they found a torso and a head in his apartment. I don't know. I don't feel like it's insane for me to say that we should lock criminals up.
No, I mean, up until recently, I think that was a pretty commonly held belief.
I mean, yeah, okay, there's some stuff that, like, like a dude had some weed on him, whatever.
Yeah, it's a victimless crime.
Yeah, some stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, a dude that's, like, physically assaulting people
that
and, like,
needs
threatening
to stop.
people
No.
and, like, actually killing people, that dude doesn't need to be out on the streets.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, I understand both sides of the argument. I understand that you don't want to lean too far into authoritarianism. Because when you do that, it's like, that's really, 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 really bad.
That's why I'm looking very closely at El Salvador right now.
Right.
Because
that could turn
sour real fucking fast.
Real fucking quick.
Yeah. It's working out great right now, but historically that's kind of how that goes.
Right. It's like, but then again, it's like you don't want to lean too far to the left either.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you let the inmates run the asylum, and nothing fucking good happens.
No, people get hurt.
It's like innocent people get hurt.
Yeah. Speaking of people getting hurt, one last thing before we go. Last night, so we have one of those like iRobot like vacuum cleaners.
No.
Or like ours is the Shark IQ, whatever like that. And we have it set up. It cleans on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's not supposed to clean at 2 a.m. on Saturday. So last night, Mary woke me up. She was like, Gary, I hear something in the house. And I heard it too. It was like something kind of banging around. I was like, what the fuck is that? And then we immediately figured out, like, oh, that's the robot.
Yeah.
For some reason, the robot turned on at 2 a.m. and was like,
how odd.
Time to clean. It's a good thing I'm not jumpy. I just like blasted, shooting through the bedroom door. Oh man,
I wonder how odd
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
Do you have is there an app that's connected to it? Or?
Yeah, I have an app. And actually, I Googled it. I was like, shark IQ robot turning on in the middle of the night. Yeah. And there was like a Reddit thread where people were like, hey, my fucking vacuum just started going off at midnight for no reason. And everybody in the thread was like, yeah, that happens. You just got to turn all of the schedules off before you go to bed and turn them back on the next day. Otherwise, it'll just start cleaning in the middle of the night.
How odd.
Yeah, I don't know why I
wonder how they've written that trigger in the code that would make it...
I don't know, decide for itself that it's going to clean?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it doesn't...
My guess is there's some kind of time zone issue.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And that would be the only reasonable explanation.
Yeah.
Like, what, it thinks it's cleaning in Bangladesh somewhere?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I should see, because he cleans at 10:30. I should see when 10:30 a.m. is 2 a.m. in other places in the world.
No.
Yeah, probably like India or some shit like that.
Fuck you, bloody.
Yeah, fuck you, bloody Master Beach. Then there was that time that Lex fell off the bed in the middle of the night. I thought somebody kicked in the fucking door. Because Lex is like 100 pounds and our bed is up kind of high.
Yeah.
And it was just a huge bang, and we both woke up. I was like, I reached for my gun. I was like, oh, it was just my big-ass dog falling off the bed.
Imagine Lex falls off the bed and all of a sudden he's getting shot.
Stop moving. Oh, man. Well, I think that's about all we got time for today, everybody. So once again, as always, thank you so much for listening. Again, the live streamed episode is going to be on April 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's our 2 p.m. I think we have one little piece of equipment we're waiting to get. So hopefully we'll have that soon, and then we're going to have a week off where we try to make sure that everything actually works correctly. And then we should be all set and ready to go when the 13th gets here. So it's going to be on YouTube. So that means that in case you didn't see my post, the YouTube channel is live. It's up now. So I got all the episodes are uploaded. Boy, what a task that was. But I got them all up there. So that is where we are going to do the live stream. It's going to be on YouTube. We'll post a link the day of, when we go live. We'll post a link on the Facebook page. So all you got to do is click it. It'll take you straight to it. But please do go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll eventually post some different kind of content there. We'll do different things on that platform as well. But yeah, I think that's all I got. Do you have anything?
Nope. Just like you said, next week there will not be an upload.
Yep.
So there will be a gap. But once again, the following week is when we'll begin the live stream. There you'll be able to find us. You said it's 2 p.m. Eastern time?
2 p.m., yeah.
No. So hopefully we'll see you there.
Yeah.
Tell your friends.
Yeah. And we're going to record we're going to record the podcast
right.
as well. So that'll still go up. The audio
right.
for that will still go up.
We're just adding another medium.
You get to see us do it live
right.
on Saturday. That's the only difference.
Right.
Yeah.
And then of course
we got to be real careful because I can't edit on the fly on the live episode.
So of course you'll see us there, and then you'll also see us wherever it is that you listen to your podcast, your preferred platform. If we're not on your preferred platform, do let us know. The email is in the show notes as always, or you can always contact us at the Facebook page. I believe that is also linked in the show notes. I don't think we didn't have any I'm sorries or anything this week.
I don't think so.
I checked the email. It didn't seem like there was anything there. But again, if you have any comments that you'd like to make, or if you have any suggestions you'd like to make, or topics you'd like to hear us talk about, just let us know, and we'll go through that. We'll take a look at them, and then we'll continue to try to evolve the show as slowly as we are.
Yeah.
We're finally on YouTube. We've talked about it.
We've been talking about it for 50 episodes.
For 2 years now. It's finally happening.
Yeah.
But once again, we really appreciate everyone that sticks around, and you continue to listen to the episodes, and you continue to have a good time, and you just enjoy the content, and we're happy that we're able to give you some time in your day.
We give you an hour and a half a week,
right,
to laugh and hear us
us
bitch about politics.
Yeah, bitch and complain, but maybe also provide you with some laughs.
Yeah.
So again, just thank you so much. We really do appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, that's the podcast, everybody. Thank you and goodbye.